Hello, my name is Derek James Shepard. If you have any questions about this vision, you can email me at lilfur523 at gmail.com. Once again, that's LILFUR523 at gmail.com. On February the 29th, leap year day 2012, about 3 years ago almost, um, at about 8 o'clock at night, I was finishing dinner and I went upstairs to write poetry, is what I do, and get on Facebook or do whatever. And as I kind of slid onto the bed with my left leg, I was on the right side of the bed. I kind of blinked my eyes and I saw a defined like light, like way far in the distance. And I opened my eyes and instantly closed them back because I knew that, I didn't look at no light for a long time, or the sun, to where there should be a light like that, and especially that defined. And as I did, I could feel myself being sucked in and pulled into getting closer to the light, and I instantly crossed my other leg and threw my hands up like this. And so I was sitting Indian style with my hands up. I just automatically did that because I thought of meditation, and just it's automatically what I did. I don't know if I should have done that or not, but that's what I did. And it it it, it kind of was useful later on down the line. You'll see. And so I came not to the light. It just suddenly was. It was like I was standing in this field, rocky, like a rocky kind of gravelly field with grass here and there, but in the distance was a mountain, like a Hershey Kiss mountain. It just kind of went up like Hershey Kiss, and it's like point at the top, and it's kind of grayish, made of light though. It was glowing, but it was still a gray mountain. I could tell it was gray mountain, but it was made of light. But in it were defined lights, like I get a laser light show whenever the lasers are writing something on the wall or making something on the wall. They're lines. Well, these were lines on the mountain, and on the mountain was this undefined face. It was something like I've never seen, but it was like a face. And I'm not too sure, how to describe that, but it wasn't like my face drawn or what's about to happen. Which happens is it transforms into the lines move and they transform, and they become a depiction of what I would think that we see today as Jesus Christ. And but it was just like a drawing, no color, no, I couldn't see the color of his hair or anything like that. Um, but I could see like he had like facial hair, and I could tell that it was Jesus Christ. I just knew it was. I just knew it was. It wasn't even a question. It was like it was inputted into me. And then suddenly I was jerked up, like pulled this way, straight up, and I was into darkness. But I looked around and I saw little specks and realized that there were stars all around me. And I was in outer space. Now, I was there was no gravity. I was just sitting there floating, and then all of a sudden, I was placed on my feet. I could feel that I was standing, and I saw the light in the distance. And in the distance, it was real far away, but I was like moving. I could feel myself moving, but I didn't know how I was walking or what I was standing on. And I knew that I was just um, weightless with it just a second ago. And but something told me you just don't look away from the light. And I remembered the story of Peter getting out of the boat and walking towards Jesus. And I remembered all this right before. I thought, don't look away from the light. But I did real quick. I looked down. And whenever I looked down, I looked back up real fast, and the light was gone. Poof. And all gravity just went away. And whenever all the gravity just went away, I just stared right where the light should have been. And I thought to myself, he'll come for me. He'll come for me. He'll come for me. He'll come for me. And all that I saw was these lines that looked like blocks that I was standing on or something made of light. And that's all that I saw. And for that, it was like Peter looked away at the waves and boom, he went underwater. But Jesus popped up, boom, made of light, wearing robes, like I guess in Jewish traditions they did back then. What we see, but I didn't see his face because he was cut off at the shoulders. Up, I couldn't see nothing, but from down, it was all light. It was a man made of light, and I know it was Jesus Christ. And he approached me. He didn't touch me or reach out to me and like grab me or nothing. But as he approached me, I was placed back on my feet over here towards my right, and he was towards the left, and I was placed back on my feet. And then he moved towards my way, and he popped into a lamb. And he like morphed, like it wasn't like a morph. It was like a pop. He was a lamb made of light, and he was fairly large. He was a large lamb, and then he moved to right in front of me on the path. I could see with the light in distance straight ahead, and it was it was the lines again, like drawn face, this odd looking face, and I call it the old blocky man's face. That's what I always call it, because that's about all I can say for that. No man has seen God's face. So, if it was God's face, it wasn't God's face. It was just a depiction of God's face. So, we'll get to that later. But that face transformed right in front of me into Jesus Christ, the same face that was on the mountain. And it went back and it became the light. And I just started moving forward. And I went through these stars, bright stars that were just going around the path, like 2 sets of them. I didn't count the number or anything like that on this set. I didn't know what to think of them. I just passed through them. But I came to a point to where the light wasn't in front of me no more. There was no more room to walk, but I could look left and look right. It was like a choice. And it was 2 like black holes kind of on each side. And on each side, first I looked to the right, and I saw this like, it looked like a snake at first, like a big long anaconda. But then I looked harder, and it was really like a berm of a path. It was a berm, like of a gravelly rock, like a gray gravelly rock path that you see like in the country homes, out here in Georgia where I'm at now. But I couldn't see how to get to the path. I couldn't see how to get to that entrance, to the point to where it started. So I looked left. Whenever I looked left, these snakes just bow, these real serpents just bow, 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 and this one copperhead, I remember just bam, it came up from this way, and bam, like right there, and it dragged down, and then something in me was not scared at all. I was not scared because I had no fear. I knew that I was in God's hands. I did have my moments of doubts later on down the road. You'll see, but there was no fear. There was kind of, I was sick and tired of looking at these snakes coming to me. I just didn't like it, and something from the back of my brain moved out the front of my brain, and this last snake came out, and it had like this pink mouth, and like flowery. It like opened up, and then bang, whatever came out of my brain, you couldn't even see it. It was invisible. It just hit it, and it just kind of squirmed back into the black hole, and it was completely gone. All the snakes were gone. So then I look back to the right, and I see those blocks coming all the way right to my feet, right where I was standing. And they go to the entrance of the path that I had seen. That I first thought, whenever I first saw it, I did think it was an anaconda, but it kind of made itself into what it was. I just what my first thought was, and so I wanted to tell y'all truthfully what I was thinking. It was no snake though. There, the snakes were to the left, and so I walked through the blocks that were made of square lights, and I got to the beginning of the path, and I looked down the path, and whenever I looked to the end of the path, I saw a cave, a cave like entrance, and so I didn't just walk down this path. I kind of if you can see, this is beginning. This is where I am, and this is where the cave is. I kind of went boom, 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 and boom, I was there. I was there that quick. It was just kind of like a jump in motion. And instantly, there was no fear, no nothing. I just walked right into the cave. There was nowhere else to go. And I knew I wasn't going to go left. And so I instantly walked through the cave in the darkness, just pure darkness. No light was in there. But then I could see, though, this... I had known this Doberman Pinscher named Tashawn that I was living with at this 1 week that I had seen this vision. And so this was a Doberman Pinscher, but I'm not saying it was Tashawn, but Tashawn, I don't know what this Doberman Pinscher was doing, but the Doberman Pinscher jumped out, raw, 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 3 times on each side. Just kind of like lunged out, like barked and like he was attacking something, but it didn't attack me. And I wasn't scared. Had no fear. Had no fear in me. And just kept pushing. Just felt myself moving. I really wasn't walking. I was sitting on the bed with my hands like this. That's what I was doing. But really, I was moving. I had my eyes closed this whole time. And then all of a sudden, to the left, it looks like the right on the screen, but it's on the left over here. There was this on the wall. A light appeared, and so I walked up to it, and it was this square, opening, and I looked into it, and whenever I looked into it, I saw this wolf made of light, and the wolf was in full light, and it was sitting there, just kind of on its side, kind of like if a mother dog is feeding her puppies, she kind of just sits on her side and lets them eat off of her nipples and drink milk. That's kind of like he was sitting. There wasn't no puppies there, but that's how the wolf was sitting. And whenever it saw me, it rolled over on its back, and it wanted me to pet its belly. But I instantly I didn't do that. I just turned right, and whenever I turned back right to head down the path, the light was back, and I just started moving towards it. And it was getting larger as I got closer. It was larger from the beginning of whenever I first saw it. I slid on the bed at the beginning of all this. I'm telling you. And then I felt myself. It was substantially larger, is what I'm telling you. And so what I'm saying is I felt myself drop down, like I was in darkness, but I could see the light. There were no stars no more. And I felt myself drop down. Whenever I felt myself drop down, the light was kind of... I couldn't look behind me because I couldn't look away from the light. I learned that lesson. But what I saw was people with their hands up, just everywhere, just like this. And I got on my phone a picture that it flashes real fast, but if you see it, you ain't gonna be able to see it. You ain't gonna be able to see it. But it's just a bunch of people. It's just a bunch of people, just everywhere, and I just pushed through them. But this is where my hands, I was using my hands. I felt like I was. Who knows? I think God would have let me just do what I was supposed to do anyway. This was God's trip. But as I just pushed through, I felt it easier to push through by bringing my hands a little closer together, and then up I went. I never looked behind me, so I couldn't see no faces or nothing. They were just black as night, dark shadows of people. But that's because the light was in front of them shining this way, and the darkness was shining this way. I couldn't see. Nothing, and I wasn't going to look away from the light. I learned that lesson. So I go up. Whenever I go up, I start bringing my hands in closer and closer, and they start shaking, and everything starts shaking, and everything, and I can see the light is just getting so close. It's like almost nothing but light. But whatever I'm in had a roof on it, and the roof had to be square because I think I started shining myself because I was going so fast, and I could see the light going before me onto the roof of this wherever I was, and the light, and then I just was shaking so bad, and it's shaking so bad, it's shaking so bad, and shaking that I couldn't take it, and the closer my hands got, the faster it got, and the more it shook, and then boom, I was in the light. And I remember this feeling of like awesomeness, and how proud he was of me, and how I did a good job, and how I made it this far, and how I accomplished it. It all just injected into me, and like, and it was real, and then the light kind of dissipated, and I saw this greenery of trees in the far distance, and then I start to look right, and I see that the land ends in this blue, the most beautiful blue that I've ever seen in any picture of any life, of any water, of any blue, This blue was the best, most beautiful, most perfected blue of any blue. And it came around this way. And the land kind of, this wasn't Florida, but it wasn't, it kind of was peninsula, right? I don't know if I said that right, but it just went around this way, and so the water, the land is over here. It's all backwards on the I'm gonna make it to where it looks like for you what it's supposed to be. This is backwards for me, but this is right for you. The land is right here. Alright? And the water goes down and this way. And then I look out this way. Really, that's where the water was, but for you, it looks like I look out this way. It goes black. Because I'm trying to see if this is an island or if the land goes where the land goes. It's got a beach and everything. But really, I'm looking left, and that's how I made it look on the screen just now for you. But I really look right. I just don't want to confuse nobody. I want everybody to know what I saw, because I know what I saw, and that's when you can email me anytime. So it went black, but I could see this light above. So it wasn't no thing. I just pushed right through it, just like I had pushed through them people and pushed on this far. I just pushed right through it. Boom, it went away, and I was back right to this landmass, the blue water. But there was this woman made of light, like she was wearing this dress, this beautiful dress, and made of light. And she's like really elven, kind of like, not pointy ears or nothing. Couldn't see, like, but her hair was shining light. Her face was light, and she was pretty and skinny. You know, she wasn't. She had sharp features, is what I'm saying. with a beautiful dress, all made of light, and she was just up in the air with me. So I looked to my right and around, I just did it. I don't know why, but I looked to my right, and I looked behind me, and I want y'all to understand this, okay? Whenever I see this, it looks like the heat on a summer's day on hitting the road, the waves coming off the road. You know those waves? You know what they look like? Those waves? Or like if you take a big lighter, and you push the button and you look at the fuel coming out of the lighter, the little bitty, that little movement. That's what this looked like. But it was a goatee, kind of like, but it might have been a beard, but it was cut off looking like a goatee of a mouth. And it was sitting there just moving. And I couldn't hear nothing. I don't know what it was saying right then, but I just looked back. I turned back around, and I looked at the landmass and what I've been looking at, and I just spoke in tongues. And whenever I spoke in tongues, it said, Jesus said, tell them what you see. And it sounded like a father giving his son orders, like, go mow the yard, go help your sister, go help your mom. That's what it is. Tell them what you see. That's what was said. Now understand, that's you. This wasn't about me. This is about you. Whoever them is, that's who I'm talking to. This has nothing to do with me. This has to do with them. He said one more time, I spoke in tongues, looking at the land, and from behind me was spoke, tell them what you see. And so I looked down, and there were 3 sand coves. One was over here, I guess, looking for you. But starting from the left, a sand cove. In the middle was a sand cove on the shore of the beach, where the blue water and the land of the green trees met. And then on the right was a sand cove. And they were empty at this point. And I just headed down towards the one furthest to the left. Just flying. I was up in the middle of the air this whole time. And I saw the woman and the moving mouth, and he spoke just up in the middle of the air. And then I flew down, and the sand cove wasn't in the sand cove. I was approaching a cliff. And as I approached the cliff, the second thing and last thing was spoke to me in this vision. And it came in. It came in the left side of my gut. That's the right for looking, but this is what it, on the camera, it looks like this is the left gut, but to me this is my right gut. It came in right here, my left gut. This is my left, but the camera's flipping it. It came in right here, like I had an ear right here, and it said, tell it on high, tell it on high, tell it on high. I repeat, it came in right there, and it spoke like a choir singing. And it said, tell it on high, tell it on high, tell it on high. One last time I will say, because I said the other 3 times, it came in my left gut, and it said, like a choir sings, tell it on high, tell it on high, tell it on high. And then I was on this cliff with green grass before me, dropped off this way, and went up this way. Like rock, like the side of a mountain. That's what it was. Just what it was. And I looked left at where the cliff was. I know it's so confusing because the camera's backwards. It looks like it is, but I see this little rock sticking out the side of this wall that I'm next to, over kind of far away. Not far away, but probably about 30 feet away, 40 feet away, maybe. Yeah, about 40 feet away. And it was just a little rock. It wasn't hand carved or it wasn't like, it was natural. It was a natural little stub coming out the flush, flat wall of rock. But this little square block was just protruding out of it, and it was jagged. It had no hand carving shape or nothing. And in it was that blocky, old man Blocky's face, is what I call it. And it transformed into Jesus Christ's face. And it's so defined, and not even that I know what Jesus Christ looks like for real, because I think that's why he was cut off at the shoulders. But this is just a depiction. It's a depiction. So I look to the left of that rock, of that little block coming out of the side of the cliff, and there was the shield. Shield like this, coming down like that. It was made of iron. It had a red cross. It had a red cross on it. I think I have it drawn. Hold on. Well, I gave away that one, but I got the other three. There's 4 shields, but this one was made of iron, okay? And it was shaped like the next shields that I'm going to show you, shaped the same way, like that. And it had a cross that was on it, and it trumpeted. It went down, and went up, down, and then down, and trumpeted like trumpets on, and it was red as blood. But this shield was shining light, just like bing, just shining light, just so much light was coming off of it. I thought it was made of diamonds. I think it's made of diamonds. I don't know if it is or not. God didn't tell me what it was made of, but it was reflecting so much light. It had to be something like a diamond, made of diamonds, or it had to be. So I call it the diamond shield, because it was so much light was coming off of it. So beautiful, so pleasant, so right. It was so awesome. And I looked back at that block, and it was that old man Blocky face. And it comforted me to see him and transformed him to Jesus Christ's face. And so I looked to the left of that shining shield, and I saw a wooden shield. And this is not a good depiction. I'm not a good drawer, but it was kind of like Calvary. It was a wooden shield shaped like that. That's how the first shield was shaped too. All 4 shields are shaped like this. But this isn't really what it looked like. It's more like a visual of looking at the top of the cross coming this way, but it just looked like the old rugged cross. And it was a wooden shield. This shield was all made of all wood, hand carved. And it was nothing like the first shield, and nothing impressive, but you understand what I'm saying. There was nothing to this shield that was bad, or nothing to the shield that was necessarily just pleasant like the other one. So I looked back at the rock sticking up the side of the mountain, because I wanted to see their faces again, and the old man Blocky face was there, and it transformed into Jesus' face. And whenever I looked to the left of those first 2 shields, I looked at the third shield. The third shield was made of all wood, except it had a golden skinny cross. So that little cross is really gold. That's what the third shield looked like. Except that cross is gold. Real skinny. Right there at the top of the, this is backwards, actually. No, actually this is the right way. That's the right way because the book's turned backwards. I don't know, but that's the right way on the screen. It looks like, I don't know how this is going to turn out at the end because it might flip everything back around. But anyway, my eyes started shaking in my head. Like, real subtle, you know. But it was getting uncomfortable and to look at, and I didn't like looking at it. And something inside of me said, whatever is to the left of this is bad. And I didn't even look back at the block to see the faces again. I instantly looked left, and whenever I did, I saw, this is a bad depiction, but I saw a wooden shield with a crucifix on it. With the crucifix on it, with Jesus Christ on it. I couldn't even see Jesus Christ really because it wasn't even Jesus Christ. It was an engraved image is what it was, and my eyes were just shaking, and I just thought my whole head was going to blow up, and before I just erupted, I looked back at the block, and everything stopped. And the old man blocky face transformed into Jesus' face. And so I said in my head to God, I'm going to look back at that shield, and if that is not what you like, then the same thing will happen, and I'll know it. So I look back at the fourth shield with the crucifix on it made of wood, and instantly it was like that. My eyes were shaking, everything was shaking, and just I thought my whole head was gonna blow up. And then I just looked back, and then I looked back at the block, and the old man blocky face transformed into Jesus' face. So I said, God, in my head, I said, God, I'm gonna look back at that first shield, and if that's what you want, if that's what you like, then let me know. And I look back at that first shield. I'm sorry I don't have a picture for you. I do on my phone. I'll pull it up, but the phone ain't working on the screen very well. This was what, I have a real good picture here, but I just feel like it ain't gonna work for you. Can you see that? It's kind of bad reflection. Margaret, there you go. You see that? That was it. It was it. It was pleasant. Beaming light. Beaming light. Just like beautifulness. And it was awesome. It was grand. It was so perfect. And I knew that was the right shield. It was the 4. You know? What that meant, I didn't know. But I knew that shield was right. Made of iron. Red cross, trumpeted on all 4 sides. Shining like diamonds. So, I left that cove. And I instantly went into the second cove. And it was all darkness. Except, made of light, I saw Mary, Joseph, a baby in a manger, and a little sheep sitting down. The sheep was sitting down next to the manger. They were all made of light, and I was in pure darkness. That was all I saw. That was the middle cove. The middle cove's done. We're out of it. Now I'm back in the air. Back in the air fully like I was before. Now look down on the third cove. Whenever I look on the third cove, I see this big, huge, takes up the whole sand cove, scorpion. Like a dark lobster color, hard shell, got massive tail with a stinger on it with 2 clippers, you know, like this thing was bad. And I just knew it was bad. Why it was where I was, I don't know, but it was in the third cove. and it was big, and I had no need to go down there, and that's all I saw on the coast. And then I forgot. Whenever I hit the light, and God gave me the inputs of of how proud He was and how glad He was of me. Whenever I first hit that light, I went. It's like I hadn't even been breathing it the whole time. But it was the most beautiful breath I had ever breathed. It was the most fulfilling breath I had ever breathed. And then so I saw the third sand cobra with the scorpion in it, and bang, I was in the woods, out somewhere in the woods, and I'm getting another breath, a wonderful breath, and it was just like beautiful breath of oxygen or whatever is in wherever I was. And I look ahead of me and I see this light colored wood cabin, like made of logs, wood, like made of tree logs, like, but they're light color, like it's the new church. I'm sorry, that's what it is, but just listen to me. All I see right now is just a log cabin, but I see two men working on sawhorses. They're wearing like overalls, blue jean overalls, and they're just working on wood, and that's what they're doing. And so I say, God, in my head, I say, God, if this is your place, give me a sign. So I look up, and there's this branch, this green branch, with leaves, green leaves. And I step left once, and I step left twice, and whenever I do, I see that the front of this log cabin is the entrance to a place with a steeple on it that goes all the way up with a cross on it, square, not trumpeted, square like the second shield, like a steeple with the cross on it, just like, but it looked like it was all hand carved, like this steeple and all the doorway and all the poles and everything was hand carved in the steeple, and all the way up to the cross at the top was all one piece or something. It was just beautiful. And so that's all I saw there, and I left. And I was flying. I wasn't flying, just God was controlling me, and I was headed into the side of a mountain, but there was this oval, like an eyeball. It looked just like an eyeball, and like black. It was black as night. It globed out, and then I entered it. And whenever I entered it, I was back in outer space, and I was going fast. I was going really, really fast. And I shot through. You have to forgive me. I just ate. I got heartburn, but that's why I keep burping. But we done did this, so I gotta keep going because it's taken me almost 3 years to do this. So I go through these amber stars. They're like, I'm not doing this right on the screen, but it's 1, 2, 3, and then up just barely above it, just real tight. 1, 2, 3, and above that 1, 2, 3. So it's 9. It's like a 9 little amber stars in it, something like that, and then down here, it made it looking like a circle. I'm trying to do it right on the screen. Anyway, it's right there, right there, right there, right there. Anyway, it was a circle, and I flew through them, and then flew through another one, and I flew through another one. I flew through 3 rings of these 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9 equals 81 stars, amber stars. Shot through them, and then all of a sudden I stopped, and I dropped down. And whenever I dropped down, I felt myself enter my body, and then I saw my face come out, and it was amber colored. It was amber. In my face, had a round mouth about this big. It was like this is my face, and there's sharp teeth all the way around it, and that same force that rebuked those serpents that went from the back of my brain to the front of my brain, It just did it again, and it hit that face, and it just went away. I opened my eyes. That was it. So let's remember this. Tell them what you see. Tell it on high. Tell it on high. Tell it on high.